Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today between the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Friday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, representing the Minnesota Twins, Trevor Larnach. And on the right, one of the best center fielders in the game, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Minnesota Twins. Leading off for the Minnesota Twins in left field, Trevor Larnach. Batting second, catching today for Minnesota, Ryan Jeffers. Batting third, playing second base, fresh off the Grand Salami, Cody Clemens. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing for Minnesota, Josh Bell. Batting fifth, playing first base, Royce Lewis. Batting sixth, playing right field, Alan Rowden. Batting seventh, playing third base, Brooks Lee. Batting eighth, playing center field, Luke Keeschel. And batting ninth, playing shortstop for the Twins, Tristan Gray. And on the mound for Minnesota with a 4-8 record, ERA of 5.21, it is Zebby Matthews. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at second base, Cole Clutch Young. Batting second, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting third, DHing for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Ganzone. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Batting fifth, playing first base, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting seventh, playing third base, Weston Wilson. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, the phenom, Colt Emerson. And batting ninth, playing right field, Victor Robles. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 4-5 record, ERA of 2.75, it is Bryce Miller. And we're going to need a good outing out of Bryce here tonight. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40-plus years on the radio for this legend and icon who is retiring after this season. So we dedicate every stream to the one and the only Rick Riz. We love you. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. We're going to bust out the Mariner Moose even before first pitch because we're going to need all the luck that we can get. Things obviously were very tough for us on the road, but we're at home for a pretty long stretch, and it's now time to get back to business. Bryce Miller on the mound, and leading it off, left fielder Trevor Larnach. On deck will be Ryan Jeffers. And a quick injury update. It just never ends for us, right? JP Crawford going to the 10-day injured list with left wrist inflammation. Obviously, we know he already missed 4 games and came back for a game or 2, and they decided to send him to the injured list. And instead of bringing up someone that could actually help us win, like Michael Arroyo, even though he might be in trade talks because the deadline is coming up, they decided to bring up Leo Rivas. So that'll give us another individual, even though he's not playing very well, in AAA. But again, the Mariner organization sometimes is very unserious about things. There's definitely guys that would be better that we could have brought up. But again, we'll see if Leo even gets a chance to play at some point in the next few days. And then Brandon Donovan obviously is healthy and good to go at home at the moment. I believe he might be approaching a point to have a baby with his girlfriend or wife. So hopefully we end up getting Donnie back, as soon as, tomorrow, Sunday, as soon as possible, but again, he's ready to go. It's just a matter of time here in the next few days. First pitch from Miller to Larnach. And that ends up being ball 1. 1-0 count. Pitch is low and at the knees. 4-seam fastball. 96 miles an hour there by Bryce Miller. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Millard and Larnach. Donkey in the building, Golf in the building, TJ all day in the building, Hawks in the building, Blue Jay in the building, good seeing you, Daniel in the building, Jonah and Uma are in the building, Callie in the building representing Hawaii, I see you, Lawrence in the building, Mike in the building. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Twins and the Mariners. A little bit of a mini heat wave coming through a little bit of Oregon and Washington, and then it's going to cool down into the 70s for a lot of us in Oregon and Washington over the weekend, but then we're going to have a 4-day heat wave after that. Little slow dribbler towards first base and foul. Naylor getting a hand on it, but out of play. And I'm not really looking forward to the high 80s, mid 90 temperatures, but again, at least we get a little cool off period over the weekend. Let's go, baby. Pride ends up. Let's go, M's. I got a new beat that Brooks dropped earlier this morning that will debut here in a moment as well. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Larnach. Jimbo's in the building. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that's a great start for Bryce Miller. Big punch out. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Nice job, Bryce. Down goes Trevor Larnach, and hopefully this will be a 7-10K kind of game for Bryce Miller. Maybe pitching 6-7 innings, we hope. Giving up 2 runs or less, we hope. And the Mariner bats hopefully scoring 5 runs, 7-10 hits. Next up is Ryan Jeffers, the catcher. On deck is Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens' son, who's fresh off that 3-0 deficit, and he was down to his last strike and ended up hitting a grand salami to win the game. So obviously they're going to be confident, based on, some recent success. But that doesn't mean that we can't play well here at home and hopefully put them in their place. First pitch is fouled off there by Jeffers. Out of play, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball missing there by Bryce Miller. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Jeffers. One pitch from Miller. Nice pitch. Right on the corner with the four-seam fastball. Looks like location is going, pretty good and smoothly here early on for Bryce. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Twins and Mariners. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Splitter going into the dirt and corralled there by Cal Raleigh. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Jeffers. JT in the building, all day in the building. What's good? 2-2 pitch and a little dribbler towards third base and out of play. And not ideal that JP's on the injured list, but we should be getting Brandon Donovan Day back any day or now, a day or 2 or 3. So Donnie should be back at third. We'll see if he'll still be leading off or if they'll have Cole lead off. And obviously with Criswell and Vargas and Brash, a week or 2 away. Little slow dribbler towards third. Weston Wilson is there. Nice throw to Josh Naylor, toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. And obviously we know Weston Wilson, is probably a better hitter than defender. Has had a few little hiccups defensively. But again, we just have to be patient until, we end up either getting Leo Rivas to take his spot for a game or 2, or, obviously the most, smart decision, to get Donnie back at third base and hopefully help us win. First pitch popped up and out of play there by Cody Clemens. 0-1 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And pretty high temperatures here, close to 90 right now. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Clemens. And a lot of times if it ends up being 90 or up, even though I want to be rocking a jersey every stream, I don't want to be sweating my ass off for 3 hours either, though. 1-1 pitch. Popped up and out of play, but usually it'll be something Mariner related, like this All-Star t-shirt from Seattle when we hosted the All-Star game a couple years ago. Pitch fouled off with that four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Minnesota and Seattle. 1-2 pitch, little slow dribbler towards first. Routine play for Naylor, flipping it back to Miller. Good job covering first, and that is 3 up and 3 down. Fantastic inning for the Mariners, not giving up a run or 2 or 3, which we have been, lately, especially on the road. But at home, we're a much different team, and I feel confident that we can start to get on a nice little win streak here at home. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the bottom of the first inning. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the new beat of the day. Let's go. Slapper. Leading off for the Mariners at second base, Cole Hutch Young. Batting second, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. And batting third, DHing today for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And on the mound for the Twins with a 4-8 record, ERA of 5.21, Zebby Matthews. Tridents up, let's go M's. We're only 15 subs away from 24,500, so hopefully we'll be able to make a little bit round on that here tonight. It's like we gained 1 sub already during the commercial break. Appreciate you. 14 subs to go to 24,500. Looking for our first dono on our dono train as we go to the bottom of the first inning. And let's take a look to see where we're at on the likes here early, with 128 in the room here in the bottom of the first. And we're off to a good start. 35 likes, 65 to go. First pitch into Cole Young is in there for a strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Zebby Matthews to Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, Cole. Maybe the only bright spot for the Mariners in 2026 is Cole. But hopefully there'll be a few others, that will be able to step up here on this last stretch as we try to make our playoff push. 1-1 pitch, fouled off. High and away. Slider 87 miles an hour there by Matthews. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Cole on a pitch low and at the knees. And hopefully he'll be able to get going at some point before this game is over, which I believe he will. And that is 1 away. Sean in the building. What's good? Jack in the building. How are you? And at some point, this will end up being Brandon Donovan, and maybe as soon as tomorrow. He said he's ready to go. He's done with rehab, but he's with family. So I assume that his wife or girlfriend is having a baby, because that's usually what that means. So maybe we'll see Donnie on Saturday or Sunday or after the Twins series. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch is a ball. 1-0 count. High and inside with a sinker, 95 miles an hour. On deck is the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. 2-0 pitch, low and at the knees. Good take here by Randy. Sinker 94 miles an hour. And that is a 3-0 pitch and a 4-pitch walk. We'll take it. And you don't usually see too many of those. But anytime we can get a mini meltdown early and a 4-pitch walk in the first inning, yeah, I'm here for it. I know you guys are as well. All right, next up is the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. We just got to figure out how to hit fastballs. We were very good at hitting fastballs last season, and we're towards the bottom of the league hitting fastballs this year. And that's going to be really the difference, not only pitching and defense and getting Donnie back, but, finding a way. And it's not just Dominic Canzone, but it's everybody. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Dom is low and away with a changeup, 89 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, hard hit ball. Go, 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 go. And it's fair. Go, Randy, run. And there we go. And we got a stand-up double by Dominic Canzone. Let's go. Runners at second and third with 1 out. We're going to score already. I love it. All right, time for Julio. Single, double, a walk, a triple, a home run. We don't care. They'll just get this game going in the Mariners score column. Let's go, J-Rod. First pitch to Julio, big swing and a miss, low and away. On deck is Josh Naylor. And it's been a minute, since we've been able to score in the first inning. It'd be nice to be able to have a lead early instead of looking up at the scoreboard and being down. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Sean getting us started with a 20 on the Dono train. Appreciate your loyalty to the channel. Every dollar counts when you have to take care of business here on the channel as well as my pup. Thank you. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. The Doggo Dono, the Soto Mojo. And from one dog father to another, I appreciate you more than words can express. 1-2 pitch to Julio. And unfortunately, a big, wild swing and a miss, low and away. Not a very patient at bat. Obviously, probably got excited seeing Randy and Dom, on second and third. But you got to lock in. You're Julio Rodriguez, and we need you to step up. Let's see if Josh Naylor can end up doing the job here with 2 outs. We don't want to leave those guys stranded. Let's go. On deck is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Working hard, with his beats, working hard in his health journey. I love seeing it. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes from Matthews to Naylor. Big dumper on deck. Come on, Naylor. I mean, we don't even necessarily need a home run, just a single to make it 1 or 2-0. 2-0 pitch, low and away. Zebby Matthews having a little bit of a mini meltdown early. 3 balls, no strikes to Josh Naylor. Take the walk if it's there. Come on, Nails. Let's go, Naylor. Bottom of the first inning, runners at second and third. And that's a 4-pitch walk again. Can you believe it? I wish Julio would have been patient. Maybe we would already be at 1-0 if he was just able to take a walk. But at least we have a few guys that are showing some patience here early. All right, bases loaded for the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Obviously the best case scenario would be a grand salami, but we can also take a walk and get a freebie run from third to come home. And then on deck is Weston Wilson. Come on, Cal. I would love to see a 1-2-3-4-0 lead here early. First pitch in there for a strike to the big dumper. 0-1 count. Velasco in the building. What's good? 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Single, double, triple, home run. You can still draw a walk from an 0-2 count, but it's very difficult. Oh-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, Twins and Mariners. Come on, dumper. Come on, Cal. Try dance up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Cal. 0-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs. Not often that we get bases loaded early. Oh-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Good take there by Cal. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Matthews to Raleigh. Come on, Cal. 1-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs. Bottom of the first, 0-0, Twins and Mariners. Come on, Cal. Good take. Pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Matthews to Raleigh. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded with 2 outs. 0-0, Twins and Mariners. Come on, big dumper. 2-2 pitch. Cal pops it up and out of play. Getting that pitch count up on Zebby Matthews. I like it. That was pitch number 8 in this particular at-bat for Cal. Slider 89 miles an hour, high and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, 2 outs. I mean, even just an RBI single would be great. Just keep the inning going. Best case scenario, obviously a grand salami to make it 4-0, but we don't need to be greedy. Even just a 1-0 to keep the inning alive would be fantastic. Come on, Cal. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball, deep right field. Let's go. Let's go. Ground rule double by Cal. Let's go. 2-0 M's. You know, sometimes you got to have that blind faith. Now, if this was earlier in the year, yeah, Cal probably would have struck out, you know, but again, you just have to believe that even in long at-bats, sometimes good things will happen, especially in the second half of the season for us. Now, if this was in the first half, yeah, Cal would have struck out probably 9 times out of 10 at-bats, but not here. And now we have a 2-0 lead. Let's go. Next up is Weston Wilson. And I credit Brooks's new slapper beat to help us obviously get that nice 2-0 lead. Vibes are high here in the Pacific Northwest, even though things have not gone our way as of late. Things can get better. 0-1 pitch. Little foul tip there by Weston Wilson that goes behind the plate. No balls and 2 strikes from Zebby Matthews to Weston Wilson. And then we'll get Brandon Donovan back in a couple days, which will be very exciting. It'll give us a big emotional lift. And on deck will be Colt Emerson. And it will suck not having J.P. Crawford, you know, but getting Donnie back, obviously, you know, that'll definitely be okay. But at some point, it would be nice to have, you know, J.P., you know, kind of as a rotational guy. But he's got to make sure that wrist, you know, that left wrist inflammation, we got to make sure we get that under control. But a great at-bat there for Cal Raleigh. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Weston Wilson. But we at least get 2 on the board, and we can't complain. I mean, think about how many times, you know, in the first half of the season, we would have had bases loaded and we would have gotten nothing. And sometimes we get bases loaded with no outs, and you should be able to get at least a minimum of 1 run, and sometimes you end up getting nothing. But again, great job there by the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. End of the first inning, 2-0 Mariners with a ground rule double by Cal Raleigh and a long at-bat. Randy Arosarena scores, Dominic Canzone scores, Naylor ended up going to third, and we'll take a nice 2-0 lead, and hopefully we keep pouring it on and we won't look back. Great job, great start. Let's go to the top of the second inning and see who's up next here for the Twins. Next up in the 4-hole, DHing Josh Bell. Batting second in the 5-hole, first baseman Royce Lewis. And batting third in the 6-hole, right fielder Alan Rowden. Trident sub, let's go M's. 14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 20 on the dono train because of Sean. We'll see if we get a few others to step up. 80 to go. Let's see where we're at on the likes here early with a 2-0 lead. Tridents up. Let's go M's. I love it. And we're at 50 likes already. Great start. 50 to go. Yeah, this is the opening game of this particular series. Yeah, and if anything is on Cash App or Venmo and it doesn't show up, you know, on my phone as an update, just let me know, and then I'll be able to obviously go towards that accordingly. So appreciate you, Velasco. Velasco with the tenor. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Pitch fouled off there by Josh Bell. No balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Bell. Appreciate you, Velasco. We're at 30 now on the Dono train. 70 to go. 0-2 pitch popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Bell. Let's go, Bryce. Yeah, normally I'll get notifications that'll pop up on my phone for Venmo and Cash App, but for whatever reason recently, within the last couple days, they haven't been showing up. So, and I'll periodically try to check in between innings. But again, if there is something that is, done based off your guys' generosity and you don't hear me mention it, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just that I don't know. And I'll just have to, check the updates when I can. And then you can always type in the chat and I can take a quick peek at that time. 1-2 pitch, little blooper into right in front of Victor Robles, and a single there by Josh Bell. Next up in the 5-hole, first baseman Royce Lewis. On deck in the 6-hole, right fielder Alan Roden. First pitch, big swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, popped up, and it's in foul territory. Naylor is there. There we go, and that is 1 away. Well, when it comes to the Astros and Rangers, when they play each other, right, there is no really, team that you would want to root for. I mean, unless we're talking about one team that's got a much better record than the other, but they're, we're all in a logjam, obviously in first, second, and third. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I guess, the Rangers obviously being at, on the top, top spot, and Astros are threatening, and it is possible the Astros could end up being in first place in a couple days. But as that gets popped up and Randy Arozarena is there, and that is 2 away. So I don't know. For me, it's like I can't really root for the Astros or the Rangers to win when they're playing each other. I could really care less, unless one team is like 10 games above, then I would be rooting for, let's say, for example, the Astros to upset the Rangers, but when they're kind of neck and neck in the standings, I don't know. There's not really a winner to me there. It's like you would rather have both teams lose, but obviously that's not possible. First pitch in there to Brooks Lee, low and into the dirt. Good scoop there by Cal. Sinker, 96 miles an hour. 1-0 count. And obviously the Astros being our number one rival, and with all of the cheating in years past, even though they are in second place, and we're in third, and, Rangers are in the top spot. I don't know. I just got a hard time rooting for them in anything. 1-0 pitch, a little line drive there towards first, and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and 2 outs. Top of the second inning, 2-0 Seattle. Yeah, it's if you have local TV, the last couple games for the Dodgers, and then I believe this one is on local TV for a lot of people in Oregon and Washington if you don't have Mariners TV. And it also is on Mariners TV, obviously, as well. That's what I'm watching it on. Pitches low and into the dirt, low and at the knees with the knuckle curve missing. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 2-0 Seattle with a Cal Raleigh ground rule double scoring Randy and Dom. 2-1 pitch into the dirt again by Bryce Miller, who started off very, very strong, within the first month and a half, but then has kind of hit reality and kind of, came back to earth, so to speak. And the last few starts have not been that great out of Bryce, but at home, we should be able to get better results. 3-1 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, back, gone. And just like that, the 2-0 lead gets erased immediately by a home run by Brooks Lee. And I guess that's just what happens with us, lately. I was hoping that we would be able to hang on to that 2-0 lead for a while, but apparently not. And it just seems like anytime we do get a lead, the other team typically strikes back immediately. And the Twins are no different. Brooks Lee with a big blast into right field, 367 feet. And, maybe this will be one of those games where it's back and forth. I mean, you kind of hope that our pitching staff can kind of put it together, especially at home with all the, shitty play on the road lately. But, hopefully that'll be the only 2 runs that Bryce gives up, but we'll see. Next up is Keishel, who fouls that one off right down the middle, 0-1 count. One pitch in there for another strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Lee Keishel. On deck is Tristan Gray. ABS challenge call is confirmed as a strike. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the second, 2-2 Mariners and Twins. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Bryce losing a little bit of control here in the second. And a little line drive towards third. Wilson can't fully get it. Throw to first and not in time. And again, Weston Wilson's a little bit of a liability lately at third base. He's just not been able to make plays there. Obviously we know with his bat, from time to time he'll be able to make a play. Maybe a little bit better than Ref Snyder and Connor Joe, but still not really good enough to be on this team as a starter. But again, with all the injuries that we have, and, we're waiting for, obviously, Donnie to come back. And, once Donnie comes back, then Weston Wilson more than likely will go to AAA. Keishel with a single. And now we got a runner at first with 2 outs for Tristan Gray. First pitch fouled off, high and inside, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Miller. 0-1 count. Joe in the building. What's good? 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. And Miller having an issue that Hoppy had, quite a few games back as well as earlier in the year. Got to be able to find that strike zone, and instead of going low and into the dirt over and over and over again. Come on, Miller. One pitch into the dirt again. Come on, Bryce. 2 balls and 1 strike from Miller to Gray. Throw to first, and Keishel is safe. Two-one pitch, popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Miller. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at first with 2 outs. Top of the second inning, 2-2 Twins and Mariners. 2-run jack by Brooks Lee. Cal Raleigh with a ground rule double before that, scoring Randy and Dom. And again, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits is the magic number. And if we hit that, we got a very good chance of winning this game. Two-two pitch from Miller. Big swing and a miss, and we finally get out number 3, but not after the Brooks Lee big home run. All right, Brooks, I see you. All right, let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see if we can regain the lead here with our Mariner batters. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, shortstop, Colt Emerson. Batting second in the 9-hole, playing right field tonight, Victor Robles. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman, Cole Clutch Young. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all of our regulars, all of the mods, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. I appreciate you and love you very much. 14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 30 on the Dono train. 70 to go. Now let's see how close we are to 100 likes as we approach the bottom of the second inning. We're at 58 likes. $42 to 100. And we got 2 early afternoon games around 1 o'clock-ish on Saturday and Sunday. And then obviously I'll be tuning into SummerSlam day 1 and day 2 tomorrow and Sunday as well. First pitch from Zebby Matthews, takes a strike looking with the four-seam fastball right down the middle, 93 miles an hour to Colt Emerson, 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Matthews to Emerson. Curveball, 79 miles an hour, missing. 1-1 pitch, high and away. Cutter missing there by Zebby Matthews. 2 balls and 1 strike from Matthews to Emerson. 2-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the second inning, 2-2 Twins and Mariners. Two-two pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3-2 pitch, big, swing and a miss. Down goes Colt, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 9-hole, right fielder Victor Robles. On deck is Cole Clutch Young. And maybe this will be the day where we get a Cole Young home run. I hope so. First pitch from Matthews to Robles, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away, slider missing there by Zebby Matthews. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, we're knotted up at 2. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider missing there by Matthews. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Matthews on the mound, Robles in the box. 2-1 pitch, little dribbler towards third and out of play. Slider 87 miles an hour there by Zebby Matthews. Let's go, Victor. Yeah, quite a few long at-bats getting the pitch count up, which is nice. 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball towards third and foul. You know, still need to be able to bunt, once or twice, steal a couple bags, hopefully. Some run and gun situations if we can get guys on base. And obviously we need home runs. We're a very home run dependent team. Number 1 home run dependent team in baseball. So 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Matthews to Robles. I mean, even if it ends up being just one home run, the chance of winning the game goes up, 90+%, when we get a home run compared to no home runs. Normally when we don't hit a home run, we typically lose. So, and vibes are high. We're back, at home. Brendan Donovan will be back in a couple days once, obviously, the whole family situation with the baby is resolved, based on the enough time spent with the family and whenever that may be, a day or 2 or 3, and then Donnie will more than likely be our new leadoff hitter, I assume, or they may ease him in slowly and have Cole Young continue to lead off, and, they'll sprinkle in Donnie somewhere, in the lineup, 7, 8, maybe. I'm not too sure. Pitch fouled off there by Victor Robles. Count now is full. 3-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play again. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, we're tied at 2. 3-2 pitch, tries to jam him. Little dribbler. Run, Victor! And good hustle by Robles, but he is out. But again, I like the hustle. You just never know if the throw will be accurate, and you don't know if the first baseman will drop that ball. But good hustle by Victor, close play. And that was pitch number 10. Next up, second baseman, Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, Cole. And Young with a hard hit ball into deep right field. Back. Gone, my boy. You ask for a home run, you get a home run. Let's go, baby. My ESP is on point today. Cole Young with a solo dinger. 3-2 Mariners. Let's go. Sometimes when you know, you just know. Let's go, baby. He was due. And my favorite player decides to get the ball rolling. Let's go. Cole Clutch Young, solo dinger, 373 feet, and we retake the lead. Yes, sir. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. The nickname by the social media team, I don't really say too many things that I think that are dumb, but the Cole Young is stupid. Again, that's the best that they could come up with, even though it was kind of like a joke and they were just rolling with it, but again, Cole Young deserves a nickname. Not to be able to have his first and last name as part of the nickname. To me, that's the dumbest thing I've heard of in baseball. Again, this guy is going to be one of the best players. He already is one of the best players on the team. So some people may think it's funny or they like it, but, I think it's ridiculous and stupid. 3-1 pitch. In there for a strike. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. I mean, have you ever heard something so silly and stupid, where, if it was Julio Rodriguez, I mean, like, that's the best that the social media team could come up with for Cole Young. Give me a break. I mean, the guy is clutch, and obviously, somebody's got to come up with a good nickname. And obviously, when they start recognizing clutch, as the nickname, then you heard it here first. I mean, there's a plenty of other ones that, people on social media will use. Bat King Cole, and, a lot of these others, but clutch is the best. Young Cole's not that much better than Cole Young. He deserves to be able to have something, that describes who he is. And again, in the 7th inning and beyond, with 2 outs, with runners in scoring position, or even with nobody out with runners in scoring position. He is the most clutch hitter on the Mariners late in games, and that is not something that is debated. It's true. All right, let's go to the top of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Twins. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 1 with a K, left fielder Trevor Larnach. Batting second, 0 for 1, catcher Ryan Jeffers. And batting third, 0 for 1, second baseman Cody Clemens. Trident's up, let's go M's. And Cole Clutch Young getting the job done. And again, sometimes you just have a feeling, and I'm not going to get every prediction correct, but usually there'll be a few things each game that, could be predicted. And, it definitely felt like today could be the day. And Cole Young getting the job done, 3-2 Seattle. And now we just got to hope Bryce Miller can end up pitching halfway decent here the rest of the way. First pitch into Trevor Larnach is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch popped up and out of play. Knuckle curve there by Bryce Miller. High and away. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the third inning, 3-2 Mariners. With runners in scoring position, with no outs, he was batting over 300 in the 7th inning and beyond. And with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, Cole at one point was batting over 400, and if that's not clutch, I don't know what is. So, and to me, he's one of the best players already on the team, and he's only in his sophomore season. Should have made the All-Star game as a reserve, at second base. And again, for everyone to be able to fully buy in, he's got to get his batting average closer to 280 to 300. And hopefully he'll be able to do that. Little flip to Bryce Miller, toe tap on the bag, and that is 1 away. But as far as like his RBIs and home runs, he already had, more than Ernie Clement. Only thing that Ernie really had higher than him was batting average. And then obviously Ozzie Albies in the National League, very similar stat line, but really the one thing, that kind of separates those guys from Cole, at least at the halfway point this year, was just a slightly higher batting average. Normally Cole is typically sitting somewhere in that 240 to, 260 range. And obviously if you want to be recognized by a lot of the other fans that are out there, you got to get it closer to 280 to 300. So even though there's not really a whole lot of 300 hitters in baseball anymore, it's a different type of game. First pitch into Jeffers is a ball, 1-0 count. Cole Clutch Young when rallies come to life. 1-0 pitch popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Jeffers. And then the clutch, that wasn't something that, I saw on social media. It's just something that, you just want to be able to give certain players and whatnot. And, we've been doing that here on the channel for years, not only on, Mariner players, but, for football and, anything and everything in between. And it just kind of felt natural. And it obviously describes who he is, and I love the two-way player, type of player that he is, just like Julio Rodriguez. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Jeffers. Little mound visit there by Cal, hopefully getting him on the same page here. Two balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Jeffers, popped up and out of play. Count still remains 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Jeffers. Little dribbler towards third. Weston Wilson finally getting a hold of a baseball. Throw to first, and that is 2 away. Jerry in the building. What's good? Top of the third inning with nobody on and 2 outs. 3-2 Seattle after a Cole Clutch Young big solo dinger to give us the lead back after they ended up hitting a big 2-run jack when we had a 2-0 lead after Cal Raleigh had that ground rule double, scoring Randy and Dom when we had bases loaded. Brooks Lee thought otherwise and said, you know what, I'm going to score one with Bell on board with a big 2-run jack, and I'm just happy that we're kind of going back and forth. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the Dodger game where it was kind of going back and forth, and hopefully Cole Young's home run won't be the only one today, and I don't think it will be. I think we'll have a good chance for at least a minimum of one more, but hopefully a couple more. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball right to Cole Clutch Young, my boy. And I love players that can make plays. And again, Cole Young is a phenom. And again, just getting that batting average up just slightly, from 240 to 260 to, 280 to 300-ish. If he can end up doing that, he'll be the starting second baseman or the backup second baseman in the All-Star game every single year moving forward for quite a while. All right, let's go to the bottom of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a run, DHing Dominic Canzone. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third in the 5-hole with a walk, a base on ball, first baseman it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Trident's up, let's go M's. Yeah, Paisley's finally got the headpiece off. Obviously going to the vet, 3 times in 3 months was not ideal with the cone of shame. But again, she's doing much, much better now, which makes me happy. Let's go to the bottom of the third, 3-2 Seattle. We're at 30 on the Dono train, 70 to go, 14 subs away from 24,500. And let's see where we're at on the likes. And we're at 70 at the likes, 30 more to go. And a line drive that gets bobbled, throw to first, and that is 1 away. We're at 70, 30 more to 100. I think I would rather have Adrian Morihone, Blue Jay. If we're not going to get Mason Miller, I'd rather, grab a lefty, and have that access in the pen and whatnot. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball into right field, out of play. Great souvenir for that fan out there. No balls and 2 strikes. with nobody on and one out, bottom of the third, 3-2 Seattle. I mean, anybody that comes over, to Seattle at, the deadline, as long as they're productive, obviously that's all that matters. Just that's what we need. The crown of healing. Yeah, I agree. I never call it the cone of shame, but usually when I go on walks, that's what other people would say. So 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Especially when, she had to wear it, for an ear infection, and then, had the hot spot on her tail and, was thrown up and was getting sick and whatnot. So, the thing that kind of broke my heart the most was just the difficulty for her to sleep, with a cone on her head. I tried to put blankets inside of the cone. And why don't they make padded cones, where they actually have like pillow type material inside of the cone? That's what they need to do, so that way the pet can actually sleep peacefully, not sleep with a hard piece of plastic on their face. Mariners challenge, and the call is confirmed. They are on Josh Naylor with a strike right there on the corner from Matthews. No balls and one strike from Matthews to Naylor. 0-1 pitch, and takes another strike on the corner again. No balls and two strikes to Josh Naylor. Yeah, but it's, a lot of those plastic cones that you get from the vet are adjustable. They click in, and you can like adjust them. But that doesn't mean that they can't come, with something like glued on or like some Velcro, Velcro straps that you can like kind of Velcro something inside of it, and it doesn't have to be like super padded, obviously if you, want to have something like that, as you get a slow dribbler up the middle, throw to first, and down goes Naylor, and that is out number 3. But, I can only imagine what it feels like. I mean, I know dogs and cats, they get used to it, and they'll end up falling asleep pretty much anywhere, on a bed, on a couch, on the floor, it doesn't matter, but obviously they sleep much more peacefully, it seems like to me, when they don't have the cone on. So, all right, let's go to the top of the 4th inning and see who's up next here for the Twins. Next up for the Twins, as we go to the top of the 4th, 1-for-1 with a run, DHing Josh Bell. Batting second, 0-for-1, first baseman Royce Lewis. And in the 6-hole, right fielder Alan Rodin. Oh, 1 pitch, line drive there that goes into the dugout and foul. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there to Josh Bell. Bryce Miller on the mound, and Josh Bell in the box. 0-2 pitch in there for a ball to Josh Bell. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 4th, 3-2 Seattle. 1-2 pitch from Miller. Low and away. Splitter missing there, 85 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Bell. And out of play. Who are you speaking to, Judah? Are you speaking to me or someone else that's in the chat? Because when I got Paisley, when she was around 6 to 8 weeks, I had to take her to the vet. So if you're speaking to me, don't know if you are. So 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball, deep right field. And Robles is there, thankfully, and that is 1 away. Yeah, but I got her all, I got her taken care of early. Within her first year of life, I believe, is when I got it done. Because otherwise, then you have to, do the whole diaper thing. Or you get the disposable diaper or like the washable diaper. And so after like that first time, obviously with the dog being a female and kind of going through the cycle and whatnot, you got to make sure you figure it out. Otherwise you're gonna have your hands full of buying those and and making sure things are clean at the house. And so I figured that would probably be the best scenario. So, but I'll be honest, I got really nervous taking her to the vet, even though they say it's a normal procedure, but it may be normal, but it definitely made me nervous. And Robles is there again in right field, and he is busy today, and that is 2 away. Yeah, she had one, when that happened as well. And, based on all the vet visits that I've gone to, I think I have 2 in the garage, so. First pitch into Rowden. High and inside, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Miller to Rowden. Two-0 pitch, high and away. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning, 3-2 Seattle. 3-0 pitch, and that turns into a 4-pitch walk. Allen making his way to first. And next up, third baseman Brooks Lee. On deck is Luke Keishel. First pitch, hard hit ball towards first base and out of play. 0-1 count. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Top of the 4th inning, runner at first with 2 outs, 3-2 Seattle. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Splitter missing there by Bryce. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first with 2 outs. Miller on the mound, Brooks Lee in the box. And obviously his last at bat had that big 2-run jack that scored with Bell on board. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Splitter low and at the knees. Inside, tried to jam the hitter, and he couldn't get a hold of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brooks Lee. One-two pitch, and Lee pops up, and this will be the 3rd straight out for Victor Robles. Nice job, Victor. Robles staying busy out there in right field, getting every out in that inning. Nice job, Victor. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see if we can add on another run to this scoreboard or more. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a ground rule double, 2 RBIs, big dumper Cal Raleigh, especially when it ended up going into that high pitch count, pitch 8, pitch 9, pitch 10. If this was in the early part of the year, Cal easily would have struck out on that last pitch, but really, tough that, hard hit, out, and getting that ground rule double was fantastic, kind of set the tone for us in this game. Great job, Cal. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, 3rd baseman Weston Wilson. Let's go, Weston. And batting 3rd in the 8-hole, shortstop Colt Emerson. Just got to be patient in your at-bats, Colt, and the game will come to you. $14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 30 on the Dono train, 70 to go. Now let's see where we're at on the likes, how close we are to 100. We got almost 200 in the room, so we should be getting close. And we're at 75, 25 more to go. Shout out to Sean and shout out to Velasco. First pitch takes a strike, looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Twins challenge, and the call is confirmed. Twins now are out of challenges. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Seattle up 3-2 after Cole Young with a clutch home run to give us that 3-2 lead. 1-2 pitch popped up in the left. And Larnach is there, and that is 1 away. Down goes Cal. Next up is 3rd baseman Weston Wilson. Hopefully this will be Brandon Donovan very soon. And on deck is Colt Emerson. And Wilson with a little dribbler towards 3rd, throw to 1st, and that is 2 away. Interested to see if Cole Young will have a multi-homer game today. It's possible. First pitch in there to Colt for a strike, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Zebby Matthews to Colt Emerson. On deck is my favorite player, Cole Clutch Young. And I know, his, teammates call him CY in the dugout, but I think Clutch sounds a little bit better on the broadcast. And then all the other nicknames that you typically hear are just made up by social media for the most part. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Zebby Matthews to Colt Emerson. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full, and hopefully we can get more long at-bats for Emerson. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th, 3-2 Seattle. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Colt, and that is out number 3. Always enjoyed Nelson Cruz and Raul Ibanez and Kyle Seager, and obviously the best guy that we had in that generation, Felix Hernandez, where we had that 20-year drought where we had no hope of making the playoffs, but we still had some really, awesome players to root for. I really loved Kyle Seager. I loved Raul Ibanez, right? Loved, the boomstick with Nelson Cruz and, Felix. I mean, imagine if Felix Hernandez was on this team. It's like, man, things could be like, instead of Luis Castillo, imagine if we had Felix Hernandez, like how much better that starting 5 would look. It would be crazy. But again, sometimes, you play in different eras, and, he definitely held it down in that era when we needed someone to root for. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Twins in the top of the 5th. All right, in the top of the 5th, 1-for-1 in the 8-hole center fielder, Luke Keeschel. Batting second in the 9-hole, 0-for-1 with a K, shortstop Tristan Gray. And batting third, 0-for-2 with a K, left fielder Trevor Larnach. Right ends up, let's go M's. All right, we're at 80 likes, 20 more to 100. We can get 20 people out of 181. We'll be at 100. And that also will help people that are looking for Mariners, looking for Twins, or just looking for a baseball stream. Good old Jay Buhner. Speaking of Jay Buhner, I was actually, just looking around, for, different jerseys and whatnot to see if anybody has any vintage, Mariner jerseys that they're letting go. And I came across a guy in Salem that's got a few vintage jerseys that he's willing to part with. He had a mid-90s Griffey, a mid-90s Jay Buhner, and these are all sewn. And then he had a old school 2001 Brett Boone with patches and everything too. And I was like, ooh, you don't really see Buhner and Boone jerseys that often. Griffey, obviously, you see lots of those. I already have a couple Griffies in the closet, but I don't got a Brett Boone and I don't got a Jay Buhner, but I saw them and I was like, oh, those are pretty cool. I mean, I don't have money in the budget for what he was asking, but they look like they were in very good condition. 3-0 pitch. But I definitely would rock a Buhner. When I went to the game on the 4th of July, I saw an old grandpa with a Buhner that was sewn, which made me smile. 3 balls and 1 strike from Miller to Keeschel. 3-1 pitch. Takes the strike on the corner. Or are they calling that ball 4? Keeschel throwing us gear off, I guess so. I thought that hit the corner and was a strike, but apparently that was ball 4. Yeah, and obviously I love the friendship that he has with Ken Griffey Jr., obviously my favorite player of all time. So, they're completely different as people, but obviously they see eye to eye, even though they have, a lot of different things. Buhner's more of a cowboy, living the wild, wild west kind of life. And, Griffey is a little bit more laid back, photography, hip hop and other things, that he spends time with the kids and whatnot. But, obviously baseball brought them together, and the brotherhood, even to this day, they're still best friends. And, it's not often that you still are best friends with someone that was a former teammate. Obviously you see it from time to time, but a lot of times people kind of move on with their lives. But it's just kind of cool to still hear that they, keep in touch and whatnot. Some friendships last a lifetime. And we finally get a bunt attempt, but it's not the Mariners. It's Tristan Gray, and he bunts foul. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big, swing and a miss. Nasty pitch there with that splitter by Miller. No balls and 2 strikes to Tristan Gray. Sarah in the building. How are you? Oh, 2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Splitter missing there by Miller. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Top of the 5th inning, 3-2 Seattle. Cal Raleigh with a ground rule double. They're in the first, scoring Randy and Dom. Brooks Lee with a 2-run jack with Josh Bell on board. And Cole Clutch Young making the prediction come true, hitting a home run. And we have a nice 3-2 lead after kind of getting beat up by the Rangers, only winning 1 game out of 4 and only winning 1 game out of 3 against the Dodgers. But that Dodger win was big because that was the first win in Los Angeles since 2009. So, yeah, it would have been sweet if we would have been able to win 1 more. But, obviously we know how difficult it is to, play a team with that kind of talent on the road. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And down he goes. Down goes Gray. And that is 1 away. Next up is Trevor Larnach. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch with that splitter, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Awesome. Congratulations with that. Sometimes it's hard to be able to find a job, that you like, that pays enough, that has benefits, and you actually work with people that you enjoy. Sometimes you just stay at a job because they pay well, or that you have friends there that make you stick around a little bit longer, and maybe the atmosphere isn't the greatest, but you stick around for a couple people that are cool there. But nice to be able to find something that, a little stability for you, which obviously everyone, can understand. And throw to first, and got him. And again, we haven't been able to throw too many people out, but nice job there by Bryce Miller to Josh Naylor. Keishel doesn't get back to first base in time, kind of took a misstep to second, and that's all Bryce Miller needed. And a nice swipe there by Josh Naylor with the glove. The August schedule for the Mariners is brutal. It gets much easier in September, but the August schedule is one of the hardest August schedules I've seen for the Mariners in the last 5 years. So, we play a lot of playoff caliber, teams, and it's not going to be easy, games at home or on the road. But, if we can find a way just to, figure it out, then obviously we could really take advantage in September if we can come out alive in August. But it's going to be difficult. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Larnach. Natman in the building. What's good? Yeah, I mean, things that, Mike Evans, going to the Niners, Levante David, retiring, not ideal, and then not giving the money to Baker, not ideal. Vita Vea wanting out, not ideal, So, again, these guys are still going to play more than likely, this season, but again, it's not exactly the distraction, you want to see. It's like, you want to focus on playing good football and winning the division and trying to make the playoffs. And, hopefully they figure it out. And both guys are deserving, to be there long term, but again, sometimes organizations get a little cheap and whatnot. But I would be absolutely destroyed if Vea and Baker are not on, the Bucks moving forward. So, we'll see what happens. I am excited about Ruben Bain, but again, you need a big boy up front. And we know Vita is still one of the best, D tackle, nose tackles in the game. Popped up there to Julio by Trevor Larnach, and that is out number 3. Sarah with $1. Every dollar counts. Appreciate that. I'm looking forward to college football and the NFL season as well, and we'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be a lot of fun as we go into the fall. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. See if we can add on another run. Next up, 0 for 1, right fielder Victor Robles. Batting second, leadoff hitter with a solo dinger, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Second baseman Cole Clutch Young. See if Cole can get another home run here today. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a run, base on ball and a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Tried ends up. Let's go M's. $14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 31 on the Dono train, I believe, 69 to go. And we should be at 100 likes by now. We've got 200 people in the room. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 12 people to hit the like button and we'll be at 100. So if someone can take a quick moment out of their day to smash that like button here in between the commercial break, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, I will be watching SummerSlam. Obviously, the Mariners play 2 games that start around 1-ish, and I believe it's going to be starting around 3. So I obviously can't do streams for both, but depending on if you have Xfinity, certain packages, give you the ESPN add-on for free. I have a link for you, and I know a lot of the other links, in sports have been eliminated and whatnot. But as far as wrestling links, me and Odin still talk, almost every day. And, again, if that's something that you want to, take a peek at and end up watching it, the card actually looks somewhat decent. I know there's going to be a few duds, in the SummerSlam, night 1 and night 2. There's going to be a couple duds, but again, there's going to be a couple electric matches. So, like I said, I can always send you a link if you want to end up watching this weekend, Sarah. But a lot of the sports, links have, been deactivated. So there's not really a whole lot of options nowadays with those, as Robles gets hit by a pitch and makes his way to first. Yeah, and it's reliable. It's from Odin, and we've been, watching, PLEs and, JCW and AEW and all those. So I've actually been watching more AEW than WWE, if I'm being honest, because I like the wrestlers over there. That type of style is more my style, like, the Young Bucks and, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, fast-paced wrestling. But, again, there's a few people in WWE I wouldn't mind watching, so. First pitch from Zebby Matthews to Cole Clutch Young. Takes a strike looking down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away. Four-seam fastball. Missing there by Matthews. 1 ball and 1 strike from Matthews to Young. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Matthews to Young. In WWE, I mean, there's a lot of people that I think that are entertaining, but I feel like the writing, the storyline and the writing have gone really downhill, and I know Vince McMahon is a POS, but it was in a better shape. Wrestling was in a better state before they sold out, to TKO, and they started putting, sponsorship on ladders and tables and, all over the ring. It's a little ridiculous, and then on top of that, they're just trying to profit, with TKO, it feels like, rather than making WWE better. And, the first few weeks in the Triple H era, it was good, but it's definitely gone on a decline, in my opinion, and sometimes Raw and SmackDown are unwatchable. And sometimes when you watch a WWE PLE, it doesn't live up to the billing. And again, I know some of them in the past with Vince were predictable, but I don't know. I just feel like, I'm not saying that Vince McMahon needs to be running it still, or come back or whatever, but, it just feels like it was in a different, time and era. And even though it may have been predictable, I feel like it sometimes was better than what it is now. So count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Matthews to Young. I'm a big Seth Rollins guy, and I always have been. 3-2 pitch, popped up and out of play. But there's always going to be wrestlers that, no matter what year, no matter who they wrestle, it's going to be fun. Like if you see Seth out there, if you see, Randy Orton out there, as far as like OGs and whatnot. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball towards third and foul. And obviously there's a lot of people that like Roman, and Roman's come a long ways. Used to be terrible on the mic and actually can cut a promo now and is actually one of the better talkers, that WWE has left. But, AEW is starting to get stronger and stronger. Motor City Machine Guns about to get the New Day. It'll be interesting. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into deep left field, out of play. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Matthews to Young. And I've been watching, wrestling since the 80s. So, I grew up in the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, Legion of Doom era, and then going into the NWO and DX and, RVD and Sabu and ECW. I mean, I watched everything. So, obviously Stone Cold and The Rock and Undertaker and Mankind. And, but again, it's not the same now than what it used to be. 3-2 pitch. They say strike 3. Cole is challenging. Hopefully he'll win this challenge. And, back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, wrestlers were bigger than life. They were so iconic. But you don't really have too many guys that are larger than life now that are wrestling, currently. And it looks like it hits the top of the strike zone, and Cole Young is out, unfortunately. And now Mariners are out of challenges like the Twins. And next up is Randy Arozarena. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the Outsiders, and then sometimes you figure out, like when you watch The Dark Side of the Ring and you watch, certain documentaries, that you find out wrestling heels were actually heels in real life. Like Hulk Hogan was a heel in real life. Ultimate Warrior was a heel in real life. And there's a lot of, things that, some people know and some people don't, but it's, not a good thing to be known as kind of a POS type of person. We already know Vince McMahon is a POS, kind of person, but, obviously we know Hogan was racist and people will never let that go, even though he's obviously passed on. And Ultimate Warrior has passed on as well. And obviously a lot of people liked him growing up, including myself. Ended up having his action figure. But you find out, in a lot of these documentaries afterwards, as Randy strikes out swinging, that when, people had cancer and people, did Make-A-Wish and things like that, Ultimate Warrior wouldn't meet up with the people. He just would leave.
even Hogan back in the day and Andre the Giant would stay for the kids, sign autographs and meet up with the kids and make a wish and cancer, patients and whatnot. But Ultimate Warrior would just dip and just leave. He wouldn't even acknowledge the parents or the kid. And that wasn't like just one time, it was multiple times. So sometimes people that you think that are your hero, and then you find out later in life that, gosh, they weren't really that great of a person. So, and again, a lot of those documentaries like Dark Side of the Ring and others are a good watch if you haven't watched them before. 0-1 pitch, little dribbler towards first and out of play. They just did a Big Boss Man one a couple days ago. And obviously I was a I like the bigger wrestlers, I like the Vader and the Big Boss Man, those kind of guys, it doesn't always have to be the guys that look like, they're on steroids and ripped, sometimes it's, those guys that were athletic, but a little bit bigger, the Mankinds and the Vaders and the Big Boss Mans, they can still be entertaining, and they were. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th, 3-2 Seattle. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Dom. And that is out number 3. And obviously heels, as we know in wrestling, are really cool to root for when you're watching wrestling, but it's kind of disappointing when you find out people are real heels in real life, And, I had a feeling a little bit with Hogan, but not to the extent of all the racism and whatnot. I wasn't really familiar with all of that, but I had kind of feeling of it, but until later it really came out, and obviously people never forgave him for that, obviously for good reason, but with the Ultimate Warrior stuff, I never knew he was like that selfish of a person. Yeah, Bailey more than likely will go, New Day, obviously, with Kofi and Xavier Woods are going. They're really good friends with, obviously, the Young Bucks, so they've already been teasing it for a while. Motor City Machine Guns just went over there, and honestly, I've been watching more AEW than I do WWE. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th inning and see who's up next for Minnesota. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th. 0 for 2 in the 2-hole, catcher Ryan Jeffers. Batting second, 0 for 2, second baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run in the 4-hole, DHing Josh Bell. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 31 on the dono train, 69 to go. And I believe we should be over 100 likes now. We were just right on the cusp there. But even though I don't watch Raw and SmackDown on the regular anymore, I am looking forward to SummerSlam this weekend. And we're at 101 likes. Thank you so much. 99 to go. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Jeffers. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. Splitter, 84 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Jeffers. Plus also with wrestling, watching it in the 80s growing up, and I've never really ever let it go. Because obviously I'm a huge toy collector too. So obviously with the wrestling figures, still to this day is still something that, I enjoy collecting. And, it's not just McFarlane's and starting lineups. Wrestling figures will always be a big part of my life. And a nice throw to first. Toe tap on the bag by Naylor, and that is 1 away. But sports cards, action figures, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, McFarlane, starting lineups, bobbleheads, Sports Illustrateds, posters, Star Wars, you name it, I probably collect it. All right, Jose Ferrer is coming in. Bryce is done. And Bryce only gave up that, 2-run jack. And obviously we didn't really know if this was going to be like a meltdown type of game. But again, gave up the 2-run jack, in the top of the second inning and was clean after that. So great job by Bryce. All right, Jose Ferrer coming in, and let's look at Miller's final line. So 5.1 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 87 pitches, 56 strikes with a 2.80 ERA. Great job, Bryce. And then we got Jose Ferrer coming in. But I miss the old school era. I'm a big Macho Man guy. I love the NWO. Still rock the gear even to this day. Love Stone Cold. Love RVD, Sabu. So it just kind of depends on what you watched back in those eras. But I loved ECW. I loved WCW. Not to say that I didn't like WWF. I did. But again, it's like I like faster paced wrestling, more hardcore wrestling with weapons and whatnot and innovative moves and whatnot. And obviously now, AEW, with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay is the closest thing to WCW or, ECW. So I kind of lean a little bit more to, towards that. But, there's still a few guys in WWE that I enjoy. All right, Cody Clemens is up next. All right, Clemens on the mound, and we got Clemens in the box, and Jose Ferrer on the mound. First pitch there by Ferrer, high and away, 1-0 count. I'm 44, believe it or not. So I've been watching the Mariners for about 40 years, and I've been collecting since I was about 3 or 4 as well. So, and I would say probably about 98% of my collectibles are in the package still, and I've been collecting for a long time. So I still have a few things that are loose, figure wise and whatnot. But obviously sports and wrestling and collecting have been a big part of my life even as a little kid. So I'm like the only kid in my friend group that still has their collectibles from when they were a kid. That's why so many people, when they get older into adulthood, kind of want to rekindle those nostalgic vibes, from toys and things that they had when they were younger, that they either sold or parents gave away or, whatever the case may be. First pitch into Josh Bell is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Bell. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Bell. Yeah, I believe the Mariners, again, it's all speculation and rumor, but it seems like the names that keep getting brought up are Emerson Hancock, Luis Castillo, Luke Raley, and maybe Michael Arroyo from the farm, but I'd rather have Arroyo on the team. Don't really necessarily want to see Luke Raley leave, but as Bell strikes out swinging, and that is out number 3. But if we had to give up Emerson Hancock and Luke Raley to get like Seiya Suzuki, I would do that. Even though I like Luke and I like Emerson Hancock, sometimes you have to give up a piece to get a good piece in return. Obviously getting Mason Miller would be great, but I don't think he'll be moved. And if he does, he probably won't come to the Mariners. Getting Adrian Morejon would probably be better for us and more realistic. So, and obviously Spencer Steer and a few others have got on the injured list as of late. Casey Schmidt, third baseman from the Giants that Mariners were, maybe slightly interested, but he just went to the injured list like Spencer Steer on the Reds. So those guys are out of the question. So there's not, and we always do deals with the Marlins. So Otto Lopez and maybe someone from their bullpen, could be maybe something that we do, but we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. So. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and see if we can get another run or two on the board. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with 2K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a base on ball. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. And batting third, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. With a ground rule double earlier in the game in the bottom of the first. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We're at 31 on the Dono train, 69 to go. All right, 106 likes, 94 to 200. First pitch to Julio, big swing and a miss, low and away with a slider, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. No, never been. One-two pitch. And a little dribbler towards third and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Matthews to Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. One-two pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Matthews to Rodriguez. Yeah, that'd be interesting, Nat, man. Have you been watching NASCAR on the weekend still? I'm still watching. I try to keep my eyes on a little bit of everything, during the whole year, whether it's baseball or wrestling or NASCAR, and obviously when we get into NFL and college football, and then NBA and college hoops and NHL, and got to keep yourself preoccupied, obviously, with everything going on. 3-2 pitch, and they jam Julio up, but he gets a nice base knock into left. Great job there by Julio Rodriguez. That was a great at-bat for Julio. Pitch number 8. And he normally doesn't get to pitch number 8 often, but he made the most out of it as they tried to jam him inside. Good follow-through swing, just like in the photo, and he gets a nice little bloop single into left. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. Looks like Cody Funderburk is coming in. All right, next up is Josh Naylor in the bottom of the sixth with the runner at first, Julio with no outs, and we're going to have Cody Funderburk come into the game. Mariner Moose trying to give us some good vibes. Hopefully Chase will get a few more wins before it's over, but the Reddick hype from the beginning of the year has died off a little bit. Hamlin's been great. And again, it's been a pretty wild, crazy year so far in NASCAR Cup. Naylor shows bunt and then pulls back, and Julio steals a bag and safe. A stolen bag there by Julio Rodriguez. Oh, one pitch for Funderburk. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-1 pitch popped up and out of play. Cutter there by Funderburk. Naylor just getting a little bit of a piece as it goes into left field. Out of play. 93 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. Bottom of the sixth, 3-2 Seattle. Crazy for Corey. No one expected that, and that's what makes it exciting when sometimes you get guys that win for the first time or they don't win often and then they end up doing, something crazy. And, that's good for the sport. One-two pitch, a little slow dribbler up the middle. Toe tap on the bag as Julio scampers to third, and that is 1 away. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Cal is a strike, 0-1 count. Yeah. So it's always cool to be able to see guys come up, whether it's, with the trucks or, the lower divisions. And also seeing guys kind of, solidify themselves like Carson Hocevar, even though he's aggressive and some people don't like him because he's so overly aggressive, but those kind of personalities are great for NASCAR. And whether you're rooting for him to win or, rooting for him to wreck, but it's just like, there's certain type of personalities that are great for the sport. Not everyone's going to be likable, so. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1-2 pitch. And Cal pops it up. And no room for Julio to make it home since it's caught there by Brooks Lee right in front of the catcher. And that is 2 away. Next up is Weston Wilson with Julio at third. First pitch takes a strike right down the middle, 0-1 count. Come on, Weston. See if we can get an unexpected home run or even an RBI single. Yeah, I like him. He's not my favorite, but, I like that type of, personality and whatnot. I mean, it's, he got kind of a bad rap, just like Ross Chastain did a few years ago, for being overly aggressive and wrecking guys and whatnot. So, but it's one thing if you're wrecking people, and it's another thing if you're wrecking people and you're winning. 0-2 pitch, popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Seattle. Oh-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Seattle. One-two pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Weston Wilson, and that is out number 3. Yeah, I'm still in disbelief that Kyle Busch died. That's just wild to me. So young. I feel bad for his kids and his wife. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up in the 5-hole, 0 for 2, first baseman Royce Lewis. Batting second in the 6-hole, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, Alan Rowden. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run with 2 RBIs at that big 2-run jack. There in the top of the 2nd inning, third baseman Brooks Lee. Tridents up, let's go M. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all our regulars, and the mods. Everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. We are global, baby. 50th year anniversary for the Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. He's retiring after this season out of the booth on the radio. So we dedicate every stream to the one and the only Rick Riz. We love you. $14 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 31 on the Dono train, I believe. 69 to go. And we're at 112 likes, 88 to 200. Christakis with the 10er. Appreciate you. And shout out to Christakis from a few streams back. Ended up donating. I didn't even notice until after the stream was over. Back, and gone. And Royce Lewis on the 1-0 pitch. Hard hit ball, deep left field, and gone. And the game now is tied at 3. Shout out to Christakis, always helping out with me and Paisley. I appreciate you very much. A very back and forth game here. We hit them with the jab. They hit us with the jab back. We throw a haymaker with the Cole Young home run, and Royce Lewis gets one back. And we just got to get to that magic number, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we're able to get to that number, we're going to win, and hopefully our bullpen will be a little bit better than theirs. But again, we haven't really had that confidence out of Ferrer, Gabe Spire, and Eduard Bizardo, that you would want, especially with Brash, Criswell, and Vargas, not being available yet and having to rely on AAA guys in the pen.
0-2 pitch and out of play. Slider 88 miles an hour there by Jose Ferrer. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 7th, 3-3 Twins and Mariners. O2 pitch, little slow dribbler. Flip it back to Ferrer, and they say he's safe. Damn it. I need to see a replay. That's pretty close of a play there with the foot on the bag, but apparently he didn't get there in time. And again, you got to have the awareness on knowing where the first base bag is. First pitch takes a strike, looking down the middle with a sinker, 98 miles an hour to Brooks Lee, who homered early in the game in the top of the 2nd inning with Bell on board. Oh, 1 pitch. Ends up being a ball. 1 ball, strike to Brooks Lee. One pitch, little blooper in the left. Randy is there, and that is 1 away. Yeah, should have probably got into the Hall of Fame sooner. You know, same thing with what Carlos Beltran and Jeff Kent. So. And now we got Dan Wilson coming out, and looks like Ferrer is done. And didn't really look that good while he was out there. Gave up the home run. Hasn't really been that consistent. And then Eduard Bizardo's coming in, and Bizardo had 3 meltdowns and then actually pitched somewhat decent in his last start. So hopefully Bizardo ends up pitching well here. Top of the 7th inning, 3-3 Twins and Mariners. A dog treat dono. I love those. You know, Paisley really appreciates that as well. So every dollar counts, especially, you know, having to go to the vet 3 times in 3 months. It cost me $1,100, and it definitely put me in a bad spot. So, you know, anything that can be done to be able to help out, you know, with dog food and dog treats and, you know, things of that nature. You know, lots of other things I have to get: ear wipes to clean her ears, and, you know, powder for her food to clean her teeth. You know, people don't realize, you know, how much money it costs to be able to take care of a dog to the fullest of your ability. And I appreciate that. Uni Boy with the $5 holla. Thank you so much. Shout out to Uni Boy and Christakis. Appreciate you guys. And I also have to get these like probiotics, you know, for her good gut health, and a little, you know, container of 30 little, you know, pieces of probiotic, you know, costs me almost $40, and I have to get that like once a month. And then obviously the powder for fresh breath, and, you know, to clean her teeth, since a lot of dogs don't let you brush their teeth, that you just put this powder, you know, on top of the food once a day. And then that usually costs about $35 a month. So, I mean, it really does add up, you know, on top of, you know, buying dog food, you know, once a month for like $80, you know. It's just, you know, everything keeps going up and up and up. So it's always nice when we can get people to show some love and, you know, help me out, you know, because obviously this is my full-time job, and, you know, again, anything that can be done is greatly appreciated. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizardo to Keishel.
1-1 pitch, a little blooper. That is fair. Run, Randy. Randy running slow as hell, not even throwing a laser. What a lazy ass. Runner scores, and just like that, we're down 4-3. Get Randy off the team. I'm sick and tired of every baseball going to his area and just being so lazy and getting to the ball and so lazy when he throws the ball. I mean, so many runs could be prevented if he actually fucking hustled. I mean, look at this lack of hustle here, and then look at the throw. Just terrible. I mean, you're getting guys that are scoring from first and second base based on balls that go to his area. And I know he's a great hitter for us this year, but man, the lack of effort, defensively. And Bizzardo having another meltdown. I mean, at the very least, if you're not going to hustle to get to the ball, at least throw it as hard as you can into the infield. So that way, maybe the relay guy can throw it to, Cal Raleigh and maybe get a tag. But that never ends up happening. I think I've seen Randy throw it hard like 2 times all year. And one of them was against the Dodgers, It's just ridiculous. I've never seen someone so fucking lazy in left field in my life. And he's a talented player. That's what makes it maddening. If he was just like a jobber or like a bad player, then you're like, okay, whatever. You're just a bench guy or you're a crappy player. But he's like an all-star. Just crazy. Next up is Victor Caratini, who is pinch hitting. 0-1 pitch. In there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Caratini. And again, I've seen Randy, I hate bringing it up almost every game, but gosh, man, it's like every game he does it like once or twice. And again, it's one thing if, someone gets on with like a single or double, but the ones that hurt are when someone ends up scoring from first or second that might be prevented. If you just threw it hard and hustled to the ball. Now, every time that you run hard and throw a laser, it doesn't mean that the relay guy is going to get it to Cal in time, but I would like to at least see a chance to maybe, get the guy out rather than just giving up. And, for every hit and home run that he's given up, or got for us in the box, how many has he given up? It's not a fair trade. Next up is Trevor Larnach. Yeah, me too, Sean. The Doggo Dono train rolling. She just came into the room too here moments ago. Takes a strike looking high and outside, 0-1 count. And again, we were doing pretty good with Bryce, but now meltdowns by Ferrer and Bizzardo. And it shows you how important Brash, Cooper Criswell, and Vargas are to this team. And we need to make a move, to be able to, get some guys here. And honestly, if the Mariners were smart, they would call up Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan and give them a shot. I think that they would be better than some of the guys that we have in the pen right now, even though they're not even in AAA yet. They're killing it in the farm. And, I have more confidence in Ryan Sloan and Cade Anderson than anybody in the bullpen. That's not a really ideal thing to say, but it's true. And nobody is trustworthy in our pen except for Mooney. That's not good. Got to find a way for this offense to come back here. And I believe we can. It's just kind of unfortunate for Ferrer and Bizzardo with the meltdowns. And Randy with the laziness. Again, 1-2 pitch. Popped up. Randy is there. And the only thing that he's worth a damn on the defensive side is maybe just pop-ups. All right, we got to be able to make up that run that Bizzardo and Randy gave up. And we might need Cole Young to have a multi-homer game today. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I still think that we can win this. And it's a game that we should have won, based on how we were playing to start the game. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Next up, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Shortstop Colt Emerson. Come on, Colt. You're due for a homer. Batting second, 0 for 1 right fielder Victor Robles. Drop a bunt down. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a home run, Cole Clutch Young. Come on, Cole. Somebody's got to be hero. Gain another sub during the commercial break. Appreciate you. 13 subs to go to 24,500. And I lost track of where we're at on the dono train, but we're getting close to 50, I believe. I think we're at 46. Or close to that. And we're at 122 likes. $78 to $200. $41. Yeah, we're at 46 on the dono train. One pitch is in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Colt Emerson. 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And no, he did not. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Funderburk to Colt Emerson. Come on, Colt. 1-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Funderburk to Emerson. Two-two pitch, and down goes Colt, and that is 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, here in the bottom of the 7th, right fielder Victor Robles dropped the bunt down. And batting third, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. All right, Nance is coming in. We got a pitching change. All right, so Funderburk is done. And hopefully Victor Robles will be able to get going. Yeah, Bliss is in AAA. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all our regulars, all our mods, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond as we're waiting for this pitching change. 50th year anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. It's retiring after this season, so we dedicate every stream to the one and the only, Rick Riz. We love you. All right, Tommy Nance coming in, the former Blue Jay. And hopefully we get something going here with Robles and Cole Young. it's kind of a damn shame. Miller only gave up 2 runs, and then Ferrer, ends up giving up the home run. Brizardo gives up the big hit that goes to Randy's area, and the runner scores from second. And if we actually got some fucking hustle and a good laser ball into someone that could relay it to Cal, who knows? Maybe that runner would have been thrown out. I mean, it's not a guaranteed the guy scores from second base every time, but I guess when it goes to Randy's area, it's 100% chance they score, and sometimes they even score from first. That's what's just maddening. 1-0 pitch. There should be no reason a routine ball in left field that anybody scores from first. I know there's some guys that are incredibly fast and there's going to be certain scenarios, but I don't know, man. I'm just sick and tired of just the laziness, man. And we've had so many things go wrong with this team, and wouldn't hurt my feelings if he's not on the team, moving forward. We could, call up Lazaro Montes or, Ace, our rookie, our first rounder, could play first base or outfield. I would rather have either of those 2 guys than Randy, honestly. And I know he's a great hitter for us this year, but, sometimes baseball is more than just hitting. That's why I like guys like Cole Young and Julio Rodriguez, guys that actually, play offense and defense, not just, one side. I've never seen someone so talented and, an all-star be so fucking lazy on D. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Victor, and that is 2 away. And it's like, there's 2 aspects of it. It's like, the lack of hustle getting to the ball. And then once he actually gets to the ball, he never throws it hard. Like, it's like if it was 1 out of 2, I would be mad. But 2 out of 2, like, you're not going to hustle to the ball and then you're not going to throw it hard. Like, why are you even on this team? Because you can hit, and again, if that's the case, then he should be our everyday DH, even though Dom, normally is in that spot. But, that's something that Dan Wilson needs to recognize. He's a liability out there. It's a liability at third. 1-0 high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Funderburk to Emerson. But hopefully, Ref Snyder will be gone, Castillo will be gone, Garver will be gone, and I'm hoping Randy will be gone sooner than later. Sets a bad example, for the other players, as well as us fans watching, game in and game out. It would be bad enough it happened once in a while, but it happens like daily. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cole Clutch Young. Come on, Cole. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Sinker 85 miles an hour. Two pitch. Low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. Take the walk if it's there. But if he gets a hold of another home run, that would be great. He doesn't have too many multi-homer games in his young career, but somebody's got to be a hero for the Mariners to pick up the slack for Randy. And Brizardo, 3-2 pitch. A little slow dribbler. Throw to first after the bobble. And that is out number 3. It just definitely shows you the lack of defense in left field, the lack of a steady bullpen. It's just killing us, man. Game in and game out. Also, sometimes the lack of hitting, the lack of good starting pitching. But, again, Bryce did good. Bullpen blew the game. Randy doing Randy things. And, now, we got 3, but 3's not usually good enough to win games. You got to get to 5. That's like the magic number. And we still got 2 innings to go. But this is a game that we should have won and we should win. And it's disappointing when you see, the second half of the game kind of, go through your fingers and kind of fall apart, when you were in firm control, in the first, 5 innings ish. And then all of a sudden, now you're wondering, are we going to win this game or are we going to take the L? And I still think that we can win, but, somebody's got to step up, as far as hitters, here in these last 2 innings. Next up in the 2-hole, 0 for 3, catcher Ryan Jeffers. Batting second, 0 for 3, second baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, DHing Josh Bell. Right, hands up. Let's go M's. First pitch into Jeffers from Bizzardo in there for a strike. And Bizzardo has had 4 meltdowns out of 5 appearances. So I'm just sick and tired of us, blowing the game away. It's like when we're playing good, the vibes are better, we're at home, and then you just get a couple guys that just ruin it for everyone else. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball, deep left field, back, and gone. And Bizzardo shitting the bed again. And this is a game that we should have won. And now the game is slipping away because of Bizzardo and Randy. Big solo dinger there by Jeffers. And I'm not saying that's the nail in the coffin, but yikes. And again, it's like Dan Wilson needs to understand when guys are pitching well and when guys aren't, Like having Wu start on the Dodgers when he's got terrible road woes, when his ERA is above 6, that wasn't ideal, and bringing Bizzardo in. And I know we have a lack of guys and whatnot, but, when a guy has had meltdowns 3 out of the last 4, and then you bring him in, and Ferrer had a meltdown, and now Bizzardo had a meltdown, it's like, and then all we have left is Gabe Spire and AAA guys. And that's why it's so important, to have Brash and Criswell and Vargas. Last year we didn't have any injuries to our bullpen. And then, this year is not the same story. And Randy goes down to one knee and actually gets a ball. And that is 1 away. Yeah, especially with the talent that we have, it's just, can't hit the fastball, meltdowns by our bullpen, sometimes meltdowns by our starting pitching, the lack of hitting, just like almost every statistical category is not to where it needs to be. And again, if we don't start winning games here in the next couple days, we're going to end up being sellers than buyers, and we may not make the playoffs. I still believe that we can, but again, these next few games before the deadline are critical, because if you keep having guys fuck up like Bizzardo and Randy, they're going to sell and they're not going to be buyers, and we're just going to, get rid of guys and, and essentially they're not going to necessarily give up, but again, if we end up being sellers, the chance of making the playoffs, it goes down pretty dramatically instead of being buyers. And I'm still going to love this team and root for this team and watch this team play, but the product that they've put on this year has definitely been disappointing for a number of reasons. 0-1 pitch, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Lewis. I mean, if I was in charge, Dan Wilson would have been fired a long time ago. Same thing with Jerry DiPoto. Never would have got Rob Refsnyder, and then if you ended up making the mistake of getting Rob, deactivate him. Get him off the fucking team, And we've been definitely unlucky with injuries. That's real, and we've had more injuries this year than any team in the last 20, 30, 40 years. So that is a factor, but, it's not the only factor. Other guys have been worse than expected. Wu, Kirby, Mooney, it's a damn shame. Naylor, has been worse than expected. We've had only a couple bright spots. Emerson Hancock for a little bit, Bryce Miller for a little bit, and really the only bright spot this year is Cole Young. That's probably the only thing that Mariner fans can agree on, that like this was, the one bright spot for us, Cole Clutch Young. And, hard to win games when you only got one bright spot. And Lewis strikes out swinging, and that is out number 3 after another Bizardo fucking meltdown. I mean, hell, if it was my choice, I would make Ichiro the manager, right? And then you got Edgar, and then try to get King Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson to put their full-time photography careers on hold. And then Griffey and Edgar working with Ichiro with the hitters and Randy working with the pitchers. Obviously the chance of that happening is probably 0, but that would give us a little bit of a boost, as far as a fan base, rather than what we have with Dan, who's essentially the same thing as Scott Service. He's soft. They have no emotion. They're not very smart. They pull guys too soon, keep guys in too long, sign the wrong guys, bring in the wrong batting order, have the wrong guys start in the batting order 1 through 9. Like they're just, no emotion whatsoever. It's like we need a guy like a Lou Piniella in 2026, not guys like Scott Service and Dan Wilson. And I think Mariner fans would agree. But the sad part is Lou Piniellas don't grow on trees. It's just a bunch of former baseball players that get hired and fired. And some of them were good as players and some weren't. Some were just like role players, and it's one thing to be a player, but it's also another thing to be a good leader and to have awareness, and actually be smart with baseball IQ. And a lot of these managers clearly, are not in that group. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 8th, and we need a miracle. All right, next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a run, a base on ball, and 2 Ks, Randy Arozarena. And you got to hit a home run for giving up that run. It's like if you're going to end up fucking up on defense and being lazy and not throwing a laser, you got to hit a home run to make up for it. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. We need a Dom bomb, baby. And batting third, 1 for 3 with 2 Ks, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And we need Julio, with a home run or, something, single, double-ish. We need our guys to be able to produce here. And if we're going to have any chance, we probably need to score at least 1 run here in the 8th and then 1 run in the 9th, unless we're lucky enough to get 2 or 3 here in the 8th. But we'll see. And obviously, if you walk Randy or if he gets hit by a pitch or, and same thing goes with Dom, you just need to get a couple guys on base so we can get this comeback to get going. 1-0 pitch, and Randy pops up into shallow left. That's not a home run, Randy. And that is 1 away. Next up is the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. You know what Lou would do. Lou would, get ejected from time to time. He would stand up for the players. He would stand up for himself. He would show emotion, sometimes too much emotion, but sometimes that's what you need to fire up a team that's in a slump, to see someone throw a bag, see someone kick dirt, someone point a finger in the ump's face, sometimes you need to be able to show that raw, true emotion. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees, but gets the corner for a strike. Sinker, 98 miles an hour there by Morris. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Yeah, I would rather have Arroyo or Ace or Lazaro Montes. Like I said, Randy is not a good fit on this team. And Dom pops up into right, and that is 2 away. And then obviously we saw at the World Baseball Classic with him and Cal, and it just feels like to me, Randy is only boys with guys like Julio, and obviously you get the, certain vibes in the World Baseball Classic where you have guys that are representing Mexico, like Andres Munoz, or the Dominican Republic, like Julio, and with Randy, obviously with Mexico as well, and obviously I get it when you get, certain individuals that you have more in common with and culture, that obviously is a little bit more similar. as we get a slow dribbler, throw to first, and down goes Julio, and that is out number 3. But again, it's like, it's one thing for, you to be boys with like Mooney and Julio, Randy, but, it sets a real bad example, just based on what we've seen all year this season, and with everything else going wrong, and then what he was doing last year and, every year he's been on the team. Wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit, so. All right, end of the 8th inning. We go to the top of the 9th in a game that is definitely slipping away out of our fingers, and I think we should have won. But, you got to be able to have a good bullpen to be able to win games. And Ferrer and Bizzardo having meltdowns, as well as Randy Arosarena on defense. Not good. Kreidler, Jeffers, and Clemens up next. Martin is up. All right, Austin Martin. First pitch to Austin Martin is a strike, low and away. 0-1 count. Little ground ball. Cole Young, 360, throw to first, and got him. Maybe the only bright spot in the Mariners in the entire 2026 season. A guy that can hit and a guy that can play defense, Cole Clutch Young. Great defense there with a 360 spin and a throw to Naylor for the out. Great job. Down goes Austin Martin, and that is 1 away. Next up is Brooks Lee. Rucker on the mound. Lee in the box. Takes another strike, looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Rucker to Lee. Oh-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Rucker to Lee. 1-2 pitch, a little dribbler. Rucker gets it. Nice underhand throw to Naylor, and that is 2 away.
First pitch to Keishall is low and away, 1-0 count. Sinker at 96 miles an hour by Michael Rucker. 1-0 pitch popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from Rucker to Keishall. And we obviously know the American League stinks, and that's really the only thing that's kind of giving us that little glimmer of hope. You know, the Mariners suck this year. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? But we're still going to root for them, you know, to do well. And, you know, it's not like the Rangers or Astros are really playing great this season either. The American League West is the worst division in baseball, you know, and obviously we have to be a little thankful for that, you know, because obviously if it's a normal year, we're screwed, you know, but for, you know, this particular year, things are bad, you know, but there's still a little glimmer of hope, you know, considering how bad the American League is. You know, we know that the Rays and the Yankees are good. You know, we know that the White Sox and the Guardians, you know, are doing well in the Central, you know, but obviously in the West, it's anybody's guess who gets hot at the end, whether it's us or the, you know, the Astros or the Rangers, but someone's got to win it, you know, no matter how bad all three teams are. 2-2 pitch, and that is popped into right field and out of play. Yeah, it's a nightmare, dude. You know, Mike Evans going to the Niners, Levante David retiring, Vita Vea wanting out and wanting more money, which he deserves. Baker getting lowballed. You know, Vea and Baker need to be on the Bucks, you know, for the rest of their careers. But who knows if the organization is smart enough, you know, to get it done or not. I hope so. But it causes a distraction, you know, during the regular season. And obviously, you know, in training camp and preseason when you don't get the deals done. Pitch is low and away. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Keishall as well as his batting helmet. And now the Mariners are down to their last chance here in the bottom of the 9th. And let's see if we have even the right batting order to get it done. All right, here we go. We need a miracle to try to win this game 6-5 somehow, some way. I mean, we've done it before, you know, but can we do it again? We've got a lot of adversity this season that we've had to deal with. Some self-inflicted things like Randy and other things, you know, just out of our control, like injuries. Next up, 0 for 2 with a base on ball, first baseman Josh Naylor. Let's go Nails. Batting second in the 6-hole, catcher Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. And batting third in the 7-hole, 0 for 3. You need to get a hit, Weston Wilson. Try to end this up. Let's go M's. And we got early afternoon games tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday at 1:10 Pacific. And then obviously SummerSlam is on, I believe, at 3 o'clock Pacific. I'll be watching a little bit of that. And once the Mariners are done, I'll be able to have my full attention in SummerSlam. And hopefully it ends up being a good show on Saturday and Sunday. But most importantly, the Mariners need to win today as well as win on the weekend. Gomez on the mound. Naylor in the box. First pitch, big swing and a miss. High and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. And line drive into left and caught. Larnach is there. And that is 1 away. I was hoping that Naylor ball would drop right in front of him, but unfortunately, he catches it.
Naylor lines out to left, 1 away. Next up is Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. Man, we just need better bullpen pitching too. Pitch, high and away. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes to Big Dumper at Cal Raleigh. Pitch, and there for a strike. I think you already know the answer to that question, Nat Man. He used to be good, but he's no longer. 3-1 pitch, pop behind the plate and out of play. Going towards the T-Mobile bricks. It's, anyone that can end up winning a Super Bowl, you end up, having a certain type of a skill set, but again, if it's been a long time since that happened, then, not every coach can be elite for their whole career, so. 3-2 pitch from Gomez to Cal Raleigh. And Cal takes a walk. Here we go. Yeah, he's terrible. You know that, though, already. All right, now we need a miracle. We need Weston Wilson to hit a home run here. Or at least get on with a single. All right, come on, Weston. We need some of that Mariner magic and that Soto mojo. On deck is Colt Emerson. Unless Weston Wilson can get on with a single and Colt can homer. Colt super open. And Wilson pops up and out of play. 0-1 count. Oh, man. Fucking Ferrer and Bizzardo and Randy just blowing it, man. One pitch, big swing and a miss. I mean, when we get Donovan back, that'll be great. We could have used Donnie today, but obviously him and his girlfriend or wife, had a baby. So obviously he's done with rehab. But I mean, if there was ever a game that we needed Donnie, it's fucking today, But hopefully he'll be in the lineup sooner than later. Because for every game that we don't have Donnie, it's been really hard. Really long, tough season without him. 0-2 pitch. And just gets a small piece of that right in front of the catcher with the sweeper. 85 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Bottom of the ninth, 5-3, Minnesota. Oh, 2 pitch. Pop behind the plate towards the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. With 1 out, bottom of the ninth, Mariners down by 2. Well, JP just went to the injured list, so. I mean, unless you want Leo Rivas to come in. But, Leo Rivas got called up, but he can't hit. He's even worse this year than he was last year. That's why we need better right-handed bats. Rob Refsnyder, Connor Joe, Weston Wilson. These guys are just not good enough. 1-2 pitch, low and away. And every once in a blue moon, those lower tier guys will, make a big play, including a guy like Mitch Garver. But it's so far and few between. We have so many other things going wrong, it's just not ideal to have like a lower end guy, to kind of, you have to count on to be the hero all the time. 2-2 pitch, low and away. And Weston Wilson forgetting the count. taking off his gear, thinking it's a walk. Come on, Weston. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Gomez to Wilson. Yeah, but that shows me that you haven't been following his career, because if you actually looked at his stats in AAA, he's terrible. So, yeah, you might have been good last year, but that doesn't mean that you're good this year. And it's not like he was that great. 3-2 pitch popped up and out of play. You know, there's a lot of guys that used to be good last year that weren't really, good last year, not good this year. Edward Bizardo, Brian Wu, George Kirby. Yeah, do I need to keep going? Three-two pitch. Oh, did it hit him? Or did it hit the bat? Oh, that would have hit him. That would have been great, as long as he didn't get hurt. Hits the bat, apparently. Let's look at the replay here. Yeah, hits the bat. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Yeah, I mean, even having like a Luke Rayleigh come in here late, would have been better. 3-2 pitch. And it's outside and a walk, so we'll take it. There we go, Weston. All right, now we got runners at first and second with 1 out, and we might be able to come back. If we get to Cole Young, we win the game. All right, you got Colt Emerson, you got Victor Robles, and obviously these guys have a hard time hitting. If we could bunt and get on, with either Colt or Victor, and then if it gets to Cole Young, he already has 1 home run today. But if we get to Cole Young, we could end up winning this game 6-5. But it's a big what if, unless Colt or Victor end up hitting a home run, and Colt hasn't hit one in a long time, and Victor hasn't even hit a home run this season. So if we can just somehow, some way get from Colt Emerson to Victor Robles to Cole Young, we could either tie the game up 5-5 and maybe win in extras, or potentially win this game in the bottom of the 9th here. We got runners at first and second with 1 out. Come on, Colt. Walk-off homer would just be beautiful. But man, his timing against the Rangers was pretty good, going for a decent, batting average in that particular series, but missed a little bit of time there with the Dodgers series, and, he's been a little impatient in the box. First pitch is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gomez to Emerson. Come on, Colt. Emerson, Robles, Young. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. 1-1 pitch. Emerson with a little slow dribbler like a bunt. Throw to first. And he is out, but great hustle. And he moves the runners over to second and third. And now we got Victor Robles. And then if somehow, some way by a miracle, Robles can get on with an RBI, or even just get on to make it bases loaded if the runners, can't come home. And then Young can make it happen. We know with Young, with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, even a few games back, he was batting over 400. They don't call him Cold Clutch Young for nothing. But now he's going to bring in Mitch Garver for Robles. Yikes. Dan Wilson. And again, I mean, every once in a blue moon, Mitch Garver could be a hero, but is this the game that Garver can hit a home run or get an RBI? I mean, we have seen it in the past, but it's like, for Garver to be able to make a play, it feels like he makes a play once every 20 games. So is this the one time in 20 games that he makes the game-winning play? We'll find out. Just keep the game going so that way we can get to Cole Young. Unless he ends up hitting a 3-run jack and we end up winning 6-5, then that obviously is best case scenario. Come on, Mitch. First pitch to Garv. In the zone, high and inside, 0-1 count. I mean, honestly, best case scenario, if it's not a hit or a big RBI or home run, is maybe Mitch taking a walk. But we'll see if he can do it. Oh, 1 pitch, lazy swing by Garver. No balls and 2 strikes from Gomez to Garver. Well, obviously, we don't have Brendan Donovan and JP Crawford. And obviously, if we had access to those guys, things could be different. So. Down to our last strike with runners at second and third. Come on, Garver. Come on, baseball gods. Keep this game going so we can get to Cole Young. Unless Garver does the miracle. 0-2 pitch. Low and away. Sweeper, 86 miles an hour there by Gomez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. And honestly, we wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for Bizardo, Ferrer, and Randy Arosarena with his lazy-ass defense. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that is the ball game. Brutal. Bullpen shitting the bed. And Randy Arosarena shitting the bed on defense. This is a game that we should have won, based on, how things went against the Rangers and the Dodgers. Again, things going sideways again. It's just so disappointing. Let's go over the stat line here for both. And we got 2 early afternoon games, and we got to figure it out. And I hope Brandon Donovan is in the lineup sooner than later. I mean, he's already had a very long, injury rehab process. And, having the baby is a beautiful thing, but almost at the worst possible time, when we need him back on this team. And hopefully we get him back sooner than later. And I wish him the best with his new baby, with his girlfriend or wife. But, man, we are so stinky right now. Just depressing. All right, let's go over the stats here for both. All right, Trevor Larnach, 0 for 4. Ryan Jeffers, 1 for 4 with a big home run and an RBI. Cody Clemens, 0 for 4. Josh Bell, 1 for 4 with a run. Royce Lewis, 1 for 4 with a home run. Alan Roden, 1 for 2 with a run. Brooks Lee, 1 for 4 with a 2-run jack. Luke Keeschel, 2 for 3 with an RBI. And Tristan Gray, 0 for 2. Cole Young, 1 for 4 with a home run. Randy Arosarena, 0 for 3 with a run and giving up a run. Dominic Canzone, 1 for 4 with a run. Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 4. Josh Naylor, 0 for 3. Cal Raleigh, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs to kind of set the tone for us, but it wasn't enough with the home run by Cole Young as well. Weston Wilson, 0 for 3. Colt Emerson, 0 for 4. Victor Robles, 0 for 2. And then obviously Garver, 0 for 1 at that last at-bat. And again, it's just, lack of hitting, lack of consistency, lack of a good bullpen, and lack of a good, defensive left fielder. It's just a number of things, but we just got to dig deep and find a way. But again, if we don't start winning games soon, we are going to be, sellers rather than buyers. So final score, Twins 5, Mariners 3. But no matter what happens, I'm still going to love this team. No matter what, I'm going to watch every game. I'm going to root them on. And again, it's just, we got to find a way. And again, it's just not been good lately. Final score, Twins 5, Mariners 3. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Try it up and go Mariners.